I'm Pete Cunningham. I run the human performance side of the sailing team here at INEOS Britannia, sort of overseeing all the training, all the nutrition, all the recovery. I started my sports science degree in Chichester. I mean, at the time, there was like 4 or 5 universities that did sports science, when now there's hundreds. So I started right at the very early doors, really, 1990, 93. Did my sports science degree. I then started working for the RYA. Did 5 Olympic cycles with the RYA, started as a exercise physiologist, ended up sort of running the sports science team. The sports science team grew massively over those sort of 20 years. And then I did the couple Mercus Cup teams with a couple of the Swedes, and nicely ended up here in INEOS Britannia. I've been here at INEOS Britannia now for just about a year and a half. Sports science has grown, enormously over the last sort of 20, 30 years, trying to reduce injury, reduce illness, optimize fitness, optimize nutrition. Recovery is always quite interesting because we push the guys as hard as we can, trying to get optimal returns. But at the same time, you've got to make sure they're ready to train. If they're not ready to train, you're almost wasting your time with the training. The biggest challenge of recovery, probably the most important one is, I would say, is sleep. And for various reasons, sleep can get interrupted. I don't know if you saw the session this morning. It was a hard interval session. He stopped halfway through, and I'd already had a few question marks over his sort of recovery over the last few days. So we stopped in mid-session. We need him to recover a little bit more. I don't think he was quite ready for a top-end interval session. So we do everything we can to optimize recovery. Isobar is part of that with the compression socks. I think compression is an interesting one because we've used it. I'm sure a lot of people listening to these sort of interviews will sort of think, oh yeah, we do compression. But what's really important, I think, is getting a garment that's custom fit. And I think that's the enhancing of the blood flow, the graded graded pressure, which helps the venous return, is really important. And we're a cycling team. We're just a large cycling team for the cyclors. And you've seen some of the difference in the legs. I mean, I'm 6'3", and I'm fairly small compared to most of them. Not everyone's a large, although you think you're a large. Not everyone's an XL, although you are an XL. But it's not quite the exact fitting. It certainly isn't a buy-off-the-shelf garment for our guys. So the really nice part for us that Isobar brings is the custom quality of the garment, and I think it's made a really real big difference to our recovery. As soon as you start talking about lower leg garments and where they're going to wear them, they're always worried about tan lines, this sort of stuff, But I think it's gone down really well. I think they as soon as they hooked into the benefits and realised it actually made a difference to them, that they're feeling the next day when they're getting back on the bike, I think that it sort of sold itself in a way. The fabric sort of has a bit of a cooling effect. They certainly haven't felt like they've overheated. They don't tend to wear it on the boat. They tend to wear it post exercise. We have a SailGP team that has I think it's 14 events a year all over the world. And there's been a lot recently. The last one was in San Francisco a few weeks ago. So the guys who are involved in the INEOS Britannia and in SailGP have been doing almost weekly flights, long haul flights. And I think the garments is certainly a nice thing to wear to help alleviate the risk of DVTs. I think Isobar's fitted in well with our other recovery strategies, and it's certainly been a big factor. When we're doing the great big, we did a big volume phase in traditionally in our winter, where we're probably doing 30 hours a week on the road, and during that period, to do that day in, day out, 5 or 6 days a week, pretty hard. And I think the recovery garment certainly aided the willingness and the feel to train. You've done a fantastic job, fantastic service for us, and I think we're certainly paying dividends in our recovery side of things.